Dev, for a man who is so relentlessly positive, he got the win, but it wasn't pretty.
No, I think at this point in time, it wasn't the Mona Lisa. It was definitely a stick man, like a 3-year-old could draw, if you call it pictures. I just went for the win, but I think that I was anticipating that Steve Lennon was going to play a fantastic game, because his first game was 96, and he was quite efficient though. I mean, even inside on the and outside of the perimeter, and you look at the game that we played. I mean, he gave me so much chances. I think he showed loads of respect there, and it wasn't. I'm going to say it wasn't warranted, but I look at it as that was my first round game, and he gave me loads of chances, which is probably the sense that he gets, because our last game was I performed really well. I was clinical, and so he was probably expecting the same thing. When he gave me so many chances, I was quite surprised, and I think that it put me on the back foot in a sense, because I kind of didn't know it's almost like if we were a boxer, for example, and he came with absolutely massive continental pillows, like just jabbing me, and I'm coming with trying to knock him out, but I just don't get close. So yeah, it was a funny one, but I'm happy to do the business and get the W.
Whoever wins the Winmau World Championship on January 3rd, it won't matter how they won their opening game, but it does kind of matter in terms of how you're playing, an indication, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think so. I think with the 180s, I was happy with that. The finishing, not happy at all. Probably go back to the drawing board and look at it differently. But tonight, I think I experienced something different. Like the previous events, there was some jubilation and celebration from the synthetic crowd. We didn't get that tonight. It was a straight lull, which was like a little, you hear slight little noises, but it's not. It's like a small little radio in the corner of the arena, and the arena is massive. So yeah, I think that those things, I mean, getting to experience that. I think Adrian Lewis, he probably threw his toys at the cop, because he's normally like jackpot. It's all shining and ding, 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 but he didn't get that. And I think that tonight I've experienced that, and I think that going back now, I'd be able to draw from that experience, and happily I can get back after Christmas and put it right.
You're all about learning, aren't you, Devon? Even if there's something that might be construed as negative, you always find the positive in there.
Yeah, I mean, life is about lessons. Nobody gives you instructions or guidelines, so you just have to learn. Everything is a lesson, and that was a lesson. I'm happy that I get to come back after Christmas and learn and kind of put it right. So I've got a few days off. Hopefully I get to draw on the 28th, so I get extra days. And then, yeah, I can just put it right. But I think that tonight was completely different to what I experienced before, and I think that my mentality was different approaching it, because it's the first time I've ever come as a seed. And I think that it's not that there was pressure on me, because I still wanted to win, but I think that my mental approach was different, and this is the first time, and it's all learning curves for me. I mean, now being in the top 32, you learn all the time. So I'll just continue learning, and hopefully I can learn on the 3rd of January and lift in the trophy.
You are better equipped for this year's William Hill World Championship than any previous attempts. You come into it in good form, you've won a title for the first time, and you're in a section of the draw which looks pretty open. It could be you and Michael Smith going up against each other after Christmas, and that's a massive opportunity for you, isn't it?
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, Michael's a fantastic player, but he still has to play his first round match. I just have to wait for the next round. So, yeah, for me, ultimately, I just need to focus on what I can do, and that's the most important thing. Anything else, I mean, he needs to focus on tomorrow when he plays, get his business done, and then we could obviously have a bout. But you know the quality that he brings to the sport, and that's why he is world number 4, 5, 6, or 7. Can't remember, because it obviously changes all the time. But yeah, he's a fantastic player, and I look forward to whoever I play in the next round. But I think that it would be a different Devon Petersen that you saw tonight will be in the next round.
Maybe one who can finish. Hit a few doubles. That Devon Petersen.
Yeah, I think if you look at the history of the world champs, I mean, the last time I played well was Steve Beaton. I missed about 39, and the next time I played Justin Pipe, and I never missed any. So that's a big step, though. I mean, learning the world champs is still different. It's the same for everybody, but it's a different approach every single time, because it's the world champs. There's massive ranking points. There's massive position shifts. All of these things come on as a player. You think about these things regardless of where you are, who you are. I mean, Michael Van Gogh still thinks about it. I think he averaged 109, so setting the mark. But we both are in the second round. Regardless, he threw 109. I could have thrown a 79. I'm still in the next round. Same like Danny Noppet. As long as you get the W on your first game, that's all that matters. You can set it right in the next game, and that's all that end of.
You got it. Thank you very much, Les.
Devon, is there a different kind of expectation on your shoulders at the moment? Because In recent weeks, people have been touting you as a possible winner of this, where before you were the underdog in these games. Is that a different kind of pressure on your shoulders?
I don't really look at it like that. I don't even care what people say or do. I've never kind of, not that I haven't valued the opinion, but I just more about what I think and where my game is at. That's the most important thing. And I know exactly where my game is at. I think that now I need to focus on the finishing. My setup is right, the throw is right, everything is right. I suffered with a recurring injury on my wrist, Grand Slam and the Players' Champs, and I was quite worried coming here, and I thought that I just need to get that right and get the scoring and get the rhythm right, which obviously with a wrist injury, it changed the rhythm slightly, and I was a bit worried, but yeah, I think that my scoring was okay. The finishing double, yeah, people can obviously go on and say you should be finishing more, but yeah, it's one of those things that you can, I'm glad that I won, so I can get through the next round and fix it.
I was going to ask you on the form, since the semi-final at European Championships, you must be disappointed with the way results have gone, and have you had enough time to get that wrist fixed properly for the Worlds?
I don't think I've had enough time. I think I need a bit more, because 2 weeks obviously off from darts, you still need to practice. So coming off from the Europeans, you had the Winter Series suffered there, then you had the Grand Slam, then you had the Players' Champs, all back to back. So very little time to kind of have like lay off. And with me wanting to push into the break into the top 32, you constantly need to be practicing and pushing your game. So it was kind of like a bad time, but also good, because I take it as, well, we know now that the wrist is a problem, and I know what's caused it. So it gives me an opportunity to work on it in the correct way, and hopefully for the next round I'll have enough rest and enough practice and kind of just put everything right.
Is it a concern for you that it could break down during the Worlds because it's over such a long period?
Not actually. The problem or the concern for me was tonight is coming here and what my rhythm would be. I've had 3 weeks of practice and constant practice, and I could feel like in the last 3 or 4 days it was taking its toll, and I took a step back of the practicing, and I think that on my finishing before I was good. Tonight came back, it showed that I needed to practice a bit more on my doubling, so I think that will be my main focus. But I don't think it will break down in a game, because obviously adrenaline and everything else happening around you. So yeah, I think for where I'm at now, the rest is not an issue. It's just more the mental space that you need to be and the confidence moving forward.
Over the last 24 hours, though, it's come out that you've been a real role model to people. Obviously, Danny Baggish spoke really highly. He picked your brain again over the last couple of days. What's that like that people are now coming to you?
Look, I think it's just attracting with the positive energy and always being open and having that kind of almost open door policy that anybody can speak, and I'll always respond in the best way that I can. I mean, Danny Baggish has been struggling with some mental issues, not mental as in his side, but family issues back home and how to deal with that. And I was probably one of the best people to kind of approach, because I have family issues back home, and obviously him being here and the issues that's happening, I gave him some of probably the best advice, and he turned up victorious tonight. So I'm happy that he's gone through, and the Wayne gone through. He played phenomenal, and he's a phenomenal talent. So yeah, I hope he goes to Q School as well and gets his talk on and represents the USA on the Pro Tour, which would be fantastic. I think that anybody else that needs a bit of advice or feels that they want to ask me something, I mean, I'm always there. I've got all the social media opportunities that you can have to kind of chat to me, and I'm always an open door.
Final one from me. How proud were you of Cameron up there this evening as well, representing South Africa?
It gave me goosebumps just to see his name there. I mean, he got through on the second round on a technicality, which was look. I mean, sometimes you can't kind of expect these things or anticipate it, but the situation and the current situation we are in, this new normal, if you must call it that. I mean, he's gone through the second round, and to have 2 South African flags on that TV today was fantastic. Gave me goosebumps. Myself and Cameron, we have a long history, like his family, and we've kind of worked together longer than he probably know. And with his dad, his late dad passing on like a few years ago, I think all of these things kind of just weighed on his shoulders in a sense, and I've kind of tried to help him through all of these things, but it's the first step, and everybody needs to take the first step to conquer that mountain. It's not, you can't conquer a mountain by a leap. So it's a great first step. I mean, it's probably not the best game that he's had, but he has the experience, so he can learn from these life lessons.
Devon, congratulations as always, buddy.
Cheers, Phil.
Devon, is Cameron coming through a product of what you've been doing over the last 3 or 4 years for South African darts, and how proud of you to see that?
Yeah, I think Cameron has always, like, his family is a dart playing family, so they've always kind of set the goals and standards high. Cameron has reached the highest ranks in South Africa, and obviously coming through the last man standing events that we host to obviously come to the Alexandra Palace. It's fantastic. He's one of the players that we've tipped for a long time to come through, but I mean, the maturity that he needs to come over now is probably everything is God's timing, and he's now come over at the right time. I was 24 when I came over, mature enough to kind of understand what's happening in the UK and kind of anticipate and accept everything, all the challenges that come your way, and I think that he's accepted that, and just the challenges that were thrown to him tonight. I mean, Danny up at the top player, and he had the opportunities, but we all learn. I learned this way, and it's taken me 10 years to get here now. So hopefully it's not going to take him that long, but I'll be there every step of the way for him.
You've been the established South African number one for many years now. Do you think Cameron has the ability to become the number two as such? I
think Cameron has the ability to exceed what I've achieved here. I mean, everything else starts with the first step, like I said before, and I think that now with Cameron experiencing this and having that first taste of the stage, I remember when I experienced that, it made my hunger even bigger. And now it means that he's going to work hard. I know that he works hard regardless. And that's a South African trait and just a cultural trait itself. And I know that he'll work hard and probably exceed what I've achieved so far. So, yeah, I'm always here for him, and I wish him all the best.
Finally, you talk that your approach is a little bit different as a seed. Just going to why that is and what you've learned from that.
I think it comes with success. Once you continuously plough your trade and kind of just come up against a brick wall all the time. Once you come through that brick wall, you realize that it's actually, you've made the game so much more difficult than you should. The game is actually so much more simple. Like tonight with the doubling finishing, if I just focused like I should have, I probably would have won that game 3-0. But Steve Lennon, in the same sense, if he focused like he should have, it would have been much tighter. So I think that we as players and as human beings, we make the game tighter. So yeah, I'm happy that he felt the pressure of playing me in a sense and giving me the opportunities, which I've given to loads of seeds before. So I know exactly where it is, and it's probably a new thing for me because generally I don't get that luck. I'm always the one that needs to grind and absolutely come from behind and all of these spectacular things. Tonight was just getting the W, and that's it.
Brilliant. Cheers for your time, Dave.
Cheers, bye.